This is VOA News. Via remote, I'm Marissa Melton. Britain has committed $34 million to strengthen security in the Indo-Pacific region as part of a pact with Australia. In a video call Thursday between British Prime Minister Boris Johnson and Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison, both leaders expressed grave concerns about China's policy in its far western region of Xinjiang. They also called for peace and stability across the Taiwan Strait. In a joint statement following their meeting, Johnson and Morrison said the funds pledged to the Indo-Pacific Security Agreement would strengthen regional resilience in areas including cyberspace, state threats, and maritime security. And they also addressed the crisis in Ukraine. They said they agreed on the need for de-escalation. They said any further Russian incursion in Ukraine would be a massive strategic mistake and have a stark humanitarian cost. The bilateral talks come just a week after the so-called Quad Group of Australia, the United States, Japan, and India pledged to deepen cooperation to ensure the Indo-Pacific region was free from what they called coercion. That's a reference to China's economic and military expansion. The United States and NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg said Wednesday that Russia is boosting its military buildup and encircling much of Ukraine, despite Moscow's claims that it's withdrawing some troops. State Department spokesman Ned Price told reporters, quote, more Russian forces, not fewer, are on the border, and they're moving, concerningly, into fighting positions. In Brussels at a meeting of NATO defense ministers, Stoltenberg said, so far we've not seen any de-escalation on the ground. VOA News. Google said Wednesday it plans to limit tracking and data sharing for users of its Android operating system, which is used by more than 2.5 billion people around the world. The change, which won't take effect for at least 2 years, comes in response to growing pressure on tech companies to increase privacy by limiting tracking. Google, which dominates the online advertising market, currently assigns IDs to each Android device and then collects highly valuable data on users that allows advertisers to target them with ads based on their interests and activities. Google said it would test alternatives to those IDs or get rid of them entirely. Google's move follows Apple's announcement last year that it would allow users to decide whether they wanted to be tracked or not. African and Western leaders met in Paris on Wednesday night to start fleshing out plans for how to continue fighting Islamist militants in the Sahel region once France and its European partners begin pulling out of Mali. Reuters news agency is reporting that an announcement on the withdrawal of France's Barkhane operation and European Takuba special forces from Mali would be made ahead of a European Union Africa summit in Brussels on Thursday. The decision follows a deterioration in French relations with Mali after its military junta reneged on a deal to organize elections in February. Instead, the military proposed holding power until 2025. Mali has also accepted a deployment of Russian private military contractors. Some European countries say that move is incompatible with their mission. Successive coups in Mali, Chad, and Burkina Faso, all ex-French colonies, have weakened France's West African alliances, emboldened jihadists who control large swaths of territory, and opened the door for Russia to fill the vacuum. Rights group Amnesty International said in a report Wednesday that Tigrayan fighters in Ethiopia committed war crimes and possible crimes against humanity as they withdrew last year from Ethiopia's Amhara region. Amnesty said fighters affiliated with the Tigray People's Liberation Front last year killed scores of Ethiopian civilians in northern Amhara. It said they looted property and gang-raped women and girls as young as 14. Amnesty says the Tigrayan forces committed the atrocities around Chena and Kobo last August and September after taking control of those areas. VOA has not been able to reach the TPLF for comment about Amnesty's accusations, but in a tweet Wednesday, a spokesperson for TPLF said, "We take the allegations seriously and will hold anyone involved responsible." Via remote, I'm Marissa Melton.